nomic. You should use the word nomic. Next time you can use the word nomic, absolutely use it. Gnomic. It refers to prudence in extraordinary circumstances for which there isn't a roadmap or an obvious course of action that we've habitually been doing. Instead, you have to rely on good judgment, the counsel of others, and the ability to execute reliably and quickly as best you can. Welcome back to Closing the Social Distance. Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum. Habemus missas. I think that's right? Accusative plural, masses. We have masses. That's a wonderful news. And we were pretty happy about that.
I think it's not like this unequivocal happiness. So I am happy that the people are going to be back here, right?
Yes.
I am ecstatic that we're no longer going to have to answer questions about why we're not celebrating Mass. I am stressed about how we're going to be able to do this, in what a post-COVID Mass looks like.
Indeed, because we really aren't post-COVID. The sad reality is
we're middle COVID.
Yeah, we're mid-COVID. This is an ongoing thing. So the fundamental reality here is excitement. In other words, we're really, really happy that the Archbishop has announced that we can resume public worship and have public masses, starting with a kind of soft opening the week of Monday, the 25th of May. So that is fantastic news. But as Father Clement just said, there are about 1,000,001 considerations to take into account as we're prepping not only the schedule, but all the policies and procedures, dealing with page upon page of archdiocesan guidelines, getting recommendations from parishioners, often unsolicited, but filled with thoughts and all sorts of counsel, reading the national news as well as statements from the bishops and other Dominicans. In other words, everybody has thoughts on the best way to do this. And the truth is nobody really knows because we're flying blind here.
There's a lot of information that still has to be learned, a lot that has to be sorted. And, it's a struggle to balance. Like some people out there have this reaction like, well, it can't possibly be as bad as they're saying. And so, just take the risk, just try to make things normal. And then we have other folks that are like, well, this is what they say the worst way that it could possibly have spread, is that it's all in the air there. So, you need to go through steps to purify constantly between every Mass, and perhaps everyone should be dressed up in PPE and like that you shower on your way in and out, or there's a range. There's a range. And so we have to, we look first at the official guidelines as to see how it is that we can do this.
Yeah. Our number one priority, of course, is to offer fitting worship to God. That is always our thing. And to help you do it along with us, because we're doing this together as the church. As we've talked about in nearly 50-some Closing the Social Distance episodes, this is who we are and this is what we are. And there's no way that changes or that goes away. But it is our serious duty and responsibility to keep people safe as best as we can, and not to have them unwittingly or unintentionally harm others. And that's the other factor. So, in other words, in the next few weeks, well, really in the next few days, you'll look forward, hopefully, to receiving from us a whole bunch of guidelines, as well as our plan going forward for at least the immediate future. And we'll go ahead and alert you right now. It's probably not going to be the exact same schedule that we had before all of this coronavirus craziness. We're going to do our best to have availability and safety and all of these different factors, along with taking into account the different needs that are present, all sorts of special occasion masses, confirmations and First Holy Communions, weddings and funerals which come up, as well as the fact that the friars are presently exiled from the Priory Chapel. And so we're saying the divine office in the church as well, for which we'll be glad to be able to have you join us, not just on video, but in person. So, in other words, stay tuned, be patient with us, be merciful, and especially pray for us as we're trying to navigate these shoals using what I hope is nomic prudence. Nomic. Yes, in other words, like the Travelocity gnome.
Where's your beard?
I should have a beard if I'm going to be nomic. No, nomic is not related to gnomes, although I suppose gnomes might have gnomic qualities. Nomic prudence is the kind of prudence in extraordinary circumstances, right? So not just, okay, I know habitually the right means to achieve the given end, but no, when things are crazy, this is what you can do. Father Romano Cesario once taught me in practice what nomic prudence is. I was driving him from the airport, and he asked to go to this restaurant, this particular Ethiopian restaurant in Georgetown. Mm-hmm. Sure, okay. So we're taking the, I think it's the Whitehurst Freeway, the one that goes up along the Potomac, and then you can get off right at Georgetown. Okay. But as often is the case, one of the exits was closed. The one, in fact, that we needed. And it looked like we were going to be stuck in this endless loop. So, he's expressing frustration and disappointment at this. I simply
He's from Boston. Just put that in context.
Well, I think he's from New York originally.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's from New York, although he spent a long time in Boston.
Spent a long time in Boston.
But I could be wrong about this, but that's what I believe. So anyway,
a place of traffic.
A place of traffic. So I take the next exit, perform what might be called a dubiously legal U-turn over and around to get on the freeway in the opposite direction, and within 30 seconds get off on the open exit that's in the opposite direction of traffic. And all the while, he's just holding on and watching this scene unfold. And we pull up, and the restaurant is right there, and there's an empty spot. And so without stopping once in this whole maneuver, in about 45 seconds to a minute, I pull up right in front of the restaurant, put it in park, and turn off the car. And he turns to me and he says, "Henry, that was nomic. That was nomic." And I was honored. But I think that is a great illustration of hopefully nomic prudence, or at the very least, irresponsible California-style driving. It could be that too.
So that whole story was to explain the word nomic.
Nomic. You should use the word nomic. Next time you can use the word nomic, absolutely use it. Gnomic. It refers to prudence in extraordinary circumstances for which there isn't a roadmap or an obvious course of action that we've habitually been doing. Instead, you have to rely on good judgment, the counsel of others, and the ability to execute reliably and quickly as best you can, recognizing that there isn't going to be a perfect solution that will be known in advance. You'll have to just kind of, in other words, wing it, but not irresponsibly. Nomic. If there could be a headline for what we're striving to do in reopening, it's like St. Gertrude's, the nomic parish. That's what we're aiming to be.
We are going to call upon the people. We are going to call upon you to use a lot of good judgment, because I know other places they're talking about roping things off, blocking things off, being very particular, and we don't think that allows the level of flexibility that we need to actually be able to carry out the things here in the church, and we don't think that would actually be prudent. So we are counting, and we also don't think that we have all the answers. So we are going to be counting on you to have awareness of who's around you and what's going on, to be responsible for the common good, and to be have your eyes on what it is that needs to be done. And so I'm sure everyone's going to be getting solicited to volunteer to help with things like cleaning, and there's an expectation of being able to find a pew that's safely distant from other ones.
And we'll be giving guidelines, so you won't just be on your own. So those will be coming out in a few days or early next week, so don't worry. We will be looking for volunteers, so stay tuned for cleaning in between the Sunday masses. And this is not something that's really complicated. We're looking to just wipe down high-touch surfaces like the tops of pews, communion rails, handles and some other things. We're going to look for extra volunteers for ushers. We're going to need more ushers than usual, and so a few good men in our parish are going to hopefully help step forward and help serve as ushers. And there'll be 1,000 and other things, I'm sure. Questions to answer, solutions to come up with, all sorts of things. And we've been grateful for you bearing with us and for often having some really good ideas along the way. So we've been grateful for things. We've actually taken a few of the suggestions and different things that people have sent in, and it's like, it's actually a pretty good idea. Let's do that. So, so be patient with us. We can't please everybody, but we're doing our best to be nomic. You don't like nomic? I'm getting a sense of exasperation about nomic. And this is really just a classical kind of term for what we're striving to be. So I think you are nomic, Father Clement, as the wizard of tech, as the
beard.
Yes, you also have a beard, and so if you were to get a pointy hat, I think you would very easily be identified as a nomic gnome. But all the same. So, as a last note, we've emphasized that you'll be hearing more in the coming days. But we'll also be producing some special videos. Kind of think of them as a kind of pre-flight safety briefing, which you'll receive, as well as the opportunity that we'll give to help prepare people for Holy Communion, not just in the kind of practicality, but spiritually. There could be a lot of fruit, a lot of great Holy Communions, God willing, will be made in the coming weeks. And so I'm very excited for that.
Including the first ones, like Henry.
Indeed, yes. Henry, the second grader, who had such an awesome question.
If you don't know about Henry, check out right there.
Or check me out, too. I'm also a Henry. And I hope I receive good Holy Communions. But in the meantime, be patient. We might not have episodes of Closing the Social Distance every day next week, because we'll be doing some moves and some shifts to help keep this going sustainably in the long run. So don't worry, we're not ending. And we're going to be producing some special content. So the name of the game is patience, and the word of the day is nomic. And with that, we'd like to ask you to keep praying for us. Know that we are praying for you. My nomic fellow parochial vicar and myself are really grateful for all that you have done and for all the patience and love that you've shown. Stay well, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on Closing the Social Distance. Nomic.